Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. My name is Dino. It's on breakout rooms. If you like the video, please feel free to like it. If you like what you're seeing here, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Here's a definition. Breakout rooms, they allow you to split your online meeting in up to 100 separate sessions, and that obviously depends on the type of meeting software you use and how much you pay for it, because some will be able to do a lot, some will have very just more limited, and the host can switch between sessions at any time. So that's from Zoom. Again, there's pro accounts for these things. There's unpaid services, and as you'd imagine, the pro accounts, the paid accounts, you get more. What are the positives of using breakout rooms? Engagement. Students described that they felt more comfortable speaking in the breakout room and were more likely to raise concerns when re-entering the main room. So from this, again, it helps these students feel more engaged. And in terms of honesty, there are more Beamer in the research found that there are more candid discussions in smaller groups as per breakout rooms. As a result, by using breakout rooms, you can help create authentic engagement between students during your online session, and it can also help create a more supportive environment where people can speak honestly. More positives. Why use breakout rooms again? Community, again, Beamer. Breakout rooms can lead to bonding and networking between peers online, and they can also have collaboration. Beamer found that there's better collaboration between teams. As a result, again, by using breakout rooms, you can help foster more communal environments in your class that foster things like bonding, networking, and collaboration. Even more. They're so good, why not have even more positives? For the instructor, there's more naturalness. Here, you can go from table to table and join any conversation just as naturally as you would in real life. And you can also, if there's a shuffle feature, you can change the groups so you can change the composition and go from different rooms, not only ones that you set up, but also ones that are shuffled. And then finally, time. Time can be saved by working on specific tasks within breakout rooms, obviously things that need a bit more brainstorming and discussing that can help later on when doing these tasks. As a result of used breakout rooms, it can assist with both teaching and learning. So they can help you, the teacher, and they can help you, the student, depending on who the you is. With any positive, there's always some negatives. Why wouldn't you use breakout rooms? There's labor and prep time. That can include setting up groups. Like, say, if you want to have groups that are tailored, where you have, say, stronger students for a specific activity and weaker ones in different rooms, or if you want to make sure that there's more just more mixed environments, you might want to do that ahead of time. So that's going to make you think about these things, which is probably most likely useful, but it also cut into your prep time and use more of that. Also, in terms of class time, small group work always takes longer than we think. Anyone who's ever taught a class, or anyone who's been in a class, any type of small group, large group work always takes more time than you think. As a result, it can save teaching preparation and in-class working time by not using breakout rooms. Other reasons not to use breakout rooms, more negatives. Lack of autonomy. Participants can't select breakout rooms they want to be in. They can't self-select their group. That's according to Remo. And then for cost, there's cost for a breakout feature. I found from my own personal experiences, not every online meeting platform allows you to have breakouts. And I personally used a free one where I subsequently had to make other sessions within that system, that type of online meeting system. So I had a main meeting, and say if I had 4 groups, I'd have a main meeting, and then I also made 4 other meetings that I put people into after the class, while the class is going on, to have like a sort of simulation of breakout rooms. So if cost is a problem and you still want to do breakout rooms, it can be really difficult, and it can be a cost for a breakout feature. As a result, I'd suggest to make proactive choices to address this autonomy issue and cost. For example, for the autonomy, you could figure out what these groups are, maybe have elicit student and participant ideas if they know each other, and then go from there, so they have some autonomy. Suggestions when you're having them. Here's some instructional considerations for those who are leading these breakout rooms. In terms of rules, give roles such as scribe and a spokesperson. So the scribe would obviously write stuff down. A spokesperson, if you have a plenary full class session afterwards, you may want to have someone that's going to speak on behalf of the group. Routines conduct activities in a consistent format for each session, which helps for both online breakout rooms, but also other activities in your class where if you set up a routine, it can save time later on. In terms of monitoring, that's something really definitely to think of. This can help if the instructor toggles between different breakout rooms to ensure that the groups are on task, give feedback on the spot to these learners, and answer any questions from the learners. From this, I'd say to be explicit in your instructions and flexible in your monitoring. For example, you might find that with, I'll get to the next point and I'll explain them both. You might want to consider your audience and your setup, where you might have, if you're working with K-12 learners, you might have a difference in terms of what you think of how to use monitoring, for example, in K-20 or more specifically post-secondary education, and then for teacher training. For example, for undergrads and graduates and teacher training, I would monitor less to give them more autonomy. Final takeaways and questions for you. Here are the takeaways. Breakout rooms, if they're done properly, can foster honest student engagement, especially if the teacher does not engage in monitoring too much. The more monitoring and the more you as the instructor are within them, the less honest the student feedback will be, engagement, because they might see that you're there and choose not to say certain things. If done well, they can foster bonding, networking, and collaboration between students, which is obviously good at building communities. They allow natural instructor small group interaction because you can toggle between them like you would when you're walking around a class. It can take away from other instructional choices, unfortunately, such as time. So if you have a lot of content to cover, you may decide to not have them at all or use them less frequently or less long. Explicit instructions support student success. So you might want to tell them how to do discussions, some things to think about. You might want to give them specific tasks to work on so that it's not open-ended. You might do other logistics in terms of things to consider while they're in the group so that these students manage them well. Finally, this is one question, but if you really read it properly, it breaks down into many questions. When you're setting breakout rooms, think of what group size would you like? Would you want 2, 3, 4, 5, 10? The group number, like how many of them? How frequently you want to have them in a class session? Should you use them once a week, for example? Should you use them twice a week, etc., etc.? How long should they be? That's the duration. What outcome do you have? And then plan accordingly. And what instructions overall should you use? That was Breakout Rooms. My name again is Dino. Please feel free to like this video. Please feel free to add comments. Do you use Breakout Rooms when you're online? Did you like Breakout Rooms? If so, why? If not, why not? And finally, please feel free to both comment to those questions or any ones you have, or also please feel free to subscribe to this channel. As always, thanks for watching. Take care.